I'll start recording. All right, so you said that you're struggling with knowing when the correction is over. So you kind of struggle with knowing when to get into the market or when the correction is completely over, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen. But first of all, how long have you been trading? I say, how long have you been trading?
I've been trading like 2 years.
All right, 2 years. All right, so let me show my chart here. Trading the chart. Do you see my chart?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Okay, so what pair do you trade usually? What pair do you usually like to trade?
I trade NASA and gold.
Okay. I'm going to use situation where price didn't completely correct because I know that is what you're experiencing. So I'm going to use that kind of example to like explain everything for you so it makes sense. Hold on. Let me use this as okay, this is GBP But even though I'm just gonna use this up with them. All right. So I think in my opinion, I think we have two kind of corrections, right? Um, let me let me specify this out. Now, in my opinion, I think we have two kind of corrections basically on ICC. You have the correction whereby this is price, and then price breaks above the zone. Let's say price gets here, rejects the zone, gets here again, rejects, and then price breaks above the zone. Then we have the correction whereby price comes all the way down here, respecting these lows, and then price continues up to the upside, right? And then we also have the correction where um I would say price comes price comes to the zone, rejects the zone, comes here again, rejects the zone, then eventually price breaks this high, right? And then correction that will just sometimes stop somewhere around here. Have you experienced that before? It doesn't completely complete itself. It just stops somewhere around here, and then it keeps
Yeah,
pushing up. Yeah, and we also have the correction where you see price gets to a zone, gets to a zone, gets to a zone again, and then eventually price breaks to that zone and then corrects itself all the way down, deep correction itself, and then continues back up. Have these three corrections, have they touched up on the things you've been experiencing that you've been facing problem knowing how to trade?
I've seen all of these. I think the ones that stop me out the most are the last ones, the deep corrections.
All right, the big corrections. All right, so most of the time, what makes us really not know which of these corrections is already complete is, first of all, trading out of session. Because if you are trading out of session, then most of the time it's difficult for you to know when the corrections are over. But I'm talking about you're trading in session and you want to take a trade and you see a correction trying to correct itself. Usually, how I identify if a correction is over is that like let me use this one for example, where you see price is correcting itself, but then you're going to find out that if it's not going to complete, usually what happens most of the time is that it struggles around this area and then session comes in, and then if you go to like this small time frame, you start to see some bullish momentum coming into the market during session. Now for this one, I'm going to explain this in the chart so it makes sense, but for now I'm just doing practical. Now for this one, sometimes we see price make an indication, correct itself and then even give a deep correction. Now, how you can be able to come across this and still be able to come out on top is knowing for a fact that you are bullish above here. Yeah, the price took out these levels, but this is not enough reason. The price took out these levels under here, but this is not enough reason for you to start looking for sales. At least before you start looking for sales, you need to see something like this, like price correct, give a deep correction, pull back in, then comes here and make another low. This is where you now say, okay, I'm looking for sales back under this level or back under this level, right? Because now you've already seen price, sorry, I'm going to pull this point back. Okay. Back under this level, because now you've already seen price break out a major structure, right? You've already seen price take out a major structure, give a lower low, and you've already seen price take out a major structure, give a lower high, and then goes on to give another lower low. This is kind of indicating to you that, okay, price is now starting to go bearish. At least you know where you are expecting these highs to be, like, you know that this high is not breaking this high here. Like, you know, like this is a lower trend. Let me just use the chart so it makes sense more. Hopefully I can see the perfect example for this one chart. So what something I'm gonna use now. Okay, for this scenario where I explain here, for this one, for this scenario where I explain here, I think this is going to be easy for you to identify because price just comes in, struggles to go higher. Am I correct? It's easy for you to identify.
Yeah, that one's pretty easy too.
All right, so I'm going to look for something else more, a bit more difficult. Or do you have maybe a situation where you recently noticed that and it really fucked you up and you're trying to solve it?
For this one, like the net chart, scroll a little to the right. What level would you use for that? Like, how do you choose that level for you?
This one, okay,
Like, where would where would because I've seen to the left, there's some highs right there, a little
all
to the
right,
left, but I don't know which one to use.
all right. Me personally, I took a trade on this Nasdaq as well, so I'll show you how I'm going to be approaching the situation, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, so for me, this right here is like is an indication, is a zone, not already box. For me, this is a zone to the downside, right? This is zone to downside because we know for a fact that under this level, sellers are in control of the market and they can push price all the way down here, right? And also, this level right here is also a zone for me, right? Because we know that above here, buyers can go this high and potentially target these highs here as well, right? So this area inside this box is what I like to call my no trade zone, because whatever happens in here, I'm not really looking to take a trade inside the zone, right? Now, in terms of like, that's basically how I'll be approaching the market. But in terms of the correction, you saying you don't know how corrections are over, or you can most times get confused on how corrections are going to work out. Well, in this particular scenario, where I know for a fact that price under here is sells and price above here is buys, in my opinion, as long as we're in session, then in terms of the correction that is happening here, you see price already gave a new indication to the upside. and this can also be read as a correction if it ends up coming back above this area. But what about the question now you have in your mind is, what if price comes, breaks here, stops around this area, and then starts pushing up again? That's probably something you are wondering.
Yeah, I'm
What would
wondering
you?
about that.
Yeah, you were probably wondering what would you do if this was the situation. Well, in this situation, what I would say is that first of all, you need to make sure that you are trading this pair during session, because as long as you're trading the pair during session, you're going to have volume on your side. Now, if that was to be the case, where price ends up having 1 hour closures under this levels and then starts to pull up, then I'm most probably going to lose the trade, right? Because I'm not going to win every single trade. I just think that this particular scenario, the sells make sense for me if I was to see it under here, and the buys make sense for me if I was to see it under here. But also, you have to be able to understand that at some situations you can come to the chart and you will see signs that maybe these buys are not really good buys, or maybe these sells are not really good sells. Let me use an example to explain that. So let's say you see price come under these levels, right? See price come under these levels, and then you see price struggling. I'm saying in most situations when price is about to reverse on you like this, there's always signs. Sometimes there is no signs, it just happens and you just lose the trade, and it becomes one of those trades that you can't really do anything about. But in most times you're going to see signs where you're going to find out you see price just struggling around this area, right? And if I was to see price struggling around here, what I would quickly realize is that if I go down to if I go down to, let's say, the 45 minutes time frame, or maybe the 30 minutes time frame, I would realize that this if price is struggling around here, that means that this level might actually be something, right? I'll realize that this level here might actually be something, and I would also consider the fact that this bullish push here might actually be something as well. Then this is what I call your in-trade management, how you approach or manage trades when you are already in the trade. Because obviously the market is somewhere that you can't really control what it does. Highest, what you can do is you can control what you do. So if I was to see price come around this area and struggle to break below this zone, then I would know for a fact that there's a chance that price might start pushing up and heading to these highs. That doesn't mean that I'm going to take a buy here and start getting these highs. No, what that just means is that I'm most probably just going to reduce my risk since it's a more risky trade seeing this update, or I'll just close the trade and call it a day. Or if I can risk it, I can just risk it for the biscuit and see how it played out. But in general, this is what you will be able to handle based on your in-trade management. It's okay for you to see price close below a level, but you just don't see enough reason for price to continue pushing down and you close it, right? It just doesn't make sense for you and you decide to close the trade. That's okay too. So what I'm basically trying to explain to you is that in the situation where price breaks under these levels and takes out under these levels and starts pushing up, me personally, I don't think there's much I can do about that, because I just think that this is a value trade for me. And unless price gives me some signs that it's a fake out, then I can be able to react to that quickly and not lose the trade. But if it's a quick breakout, the price breaks out here, we have the 1 hour closures, we have our stop loss placement, and then the 1 hour closures under here, and I think the trade price starts reversing itself in back into the area, then I guess it's one of those trades that I'm gonna have to lose. And that is the reason why you always also have to enter a trade with minimal lot size. You don't want to over risk because there's never a certainty.
Yeah, get you. I never looked at that before, like where look at levels on the lower time frames.
Sorry,
I
I didn't
just use
get
the
you.
I just use the 1 hour and then but I've never used like those little levels on like the 45 minute or 30 minute.
Oh,
Like I
well,
think I need to start looking at that.
all right. The way I decide which time frame to use for my trade, I like the 45 minutes time frame. The 30 minutes time frame is good, but if I'm using 30 minutes time frame or 50 minutes time frame, I'm also combining it together with the 1 hour. But the way I use like the 40, I decide if I want to use the 45 minutes time frame or the 1 hour or the 2 hour time frame for my trade is just where the ICC makes the most sense. Now let me use let me give you an example where I saw ICC trade and it makes the most sense, and I use that time frame to take the trade. Let me use uh let me see SPX. SPX was good. I just didn't take the trade because I was really on the trade. But let me say SPX here on the maybe here on the 1 hour it still looks good. I'm just trying to see a time frame that I can use to kind of like make my explanations obvious for you. Can I use GBP/USD?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So using GEO. So this is the 1 hour time frame, right? And if you use the 1 hour time frame, you're going to realize that let's say you see price under these levels during the 1 hour time frame. You're going to find out that you're not going to really know, you're going to get confused with all these break to downside, price correct, breaks again, price pull back in. It's like you always keep asking yourself, okay, sellers are in control under these levels, but why didn't they push price down here? It didn't make sense here. And like there's just so many consolidations here. So in my opinion, I would say that this trade doesn't make so much sense in 1 hour time frame. And let me explain the trade for you so it's clear and you understand what I'm saying. So let's say you know for a fact that under this levels, price is struggling or struggling to go lower. Under this level, price was struggling to go lower. So see price came here, rejected itself, came here, rejected, came here, rejected. So basically, price is just struggling to go below these levels. And what that means is that price is telling us that, hey, above here, buyers are in control of the market and they can push price higher, right? Now, this breakout here is basically telling us that, hey, under this level, sellers can take control of the market and they can push price all the way down here, right? So after you see this and you see this correction inside, like I told you before, because you see one breakout, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are taking sales or that you're changing your bias. You only change your bias when you see like price made a new indication to the downside for you, corrected itself respecting high previous height, and then making a new indication for you again. Now that gives you a feeling of that gives you a feeling of price is finally starting to make a downtrend, because in this particular situation where let's say I was in this trade and I see this happening where price, if this correction corrects itself, comes here and struggles and price is back above these levels where I know buyers can be in control of the market, I would literally call this my indication. I would literally just say, okay, this is my indication because I know for a fact that above these levels, as we have seen inside here, above here, buyers have been pushing price up and they're in control of the market. So price coming back above here just means that buyers are back into the market again. And since I have an indication, a correction back above here, I'm looking to take buys and target these highs.
Okay.
But now that after this, I've seen price break back under these levels and now give me a new indication. Now I know that, okay, sellers are now fully back in a market and I'm going to start looking for sales instead of buys, right? And now when I've seen this, when I've seen this update here. In terms of what was the question again? Oh shit. Sorry, what was the question again? I'm sorry, remind me.
When is the correction over?
No, there was something I was trying to point out. Uh,
Wait, what?
There was something I was trying to point out, but I was talking too much, I forgot. Ah, anyways, but basically what I'm saying is that if I was to approach this market, okay, I was talking about the 1 hour time frame and the 2 hour time, how I get to determine the time frame that I'm going to be using for the trade. So all I'm trying to point out to you is that looking at this trade on this 1 hour time frame, the sales isn't so clear because there's so many uncertainties. So what I will now do is that I'll go to a higher time frame where I'll kind of like see price clearly, where it kind of makes sense for me and where there is less noise. Now the point I'm trying to make for you right now is that the way you decide the time frame that you're going to be using for your trade is not really by choice. It's most of the time is just by the time frame that makes the most sense. Sometimes you're going to see a trade on the 1 hour time frame, but then that trade makes a lot more sense and it's a lot more clear on the 45 minutes time frame. I dare you to use that time frame instead. And sometimes you may see a trade on the 1 hour time frame, but that trade makes more sense on the 2 hour time frame. Then I dare you to use that 2 hour time frame for that trade.
Get you. I think that's a big part that I need to learn, where it breaks out once and then I just change my whole perspective to sales. But I have to
Yeah,
wait for
that's
another indication to be made, right?
you have to wait for when you are looking for buys. Just remember that there's a reason why you're looking for buys, probably because the trend is bullish and probably because you see an invalid ICC. Now, you don't change your entire bias just because price took out one single low, right? You don't change your entire bias. I wish I saw a very good correction where I could use that. If I saw a very good correction where I could use that, then I would really be using that. But the point I'm saying in general is because just because price took out this low here, let me use this one. Point I'm making is just because price took out this low here doesn't mean that your bias is wrong. Okay, I
Yeah,
noticed there's a situation where that actually played out really well in gold. Let me go to gold.
yeah, it's gold.
All right, let me go to gold. You know what? All right, let me go to gold. So we had this situation. Me personally, I was in this trade at some point. So we had this situation whereby uh, price was in a downtrend and price comes around here and kind of struggles to keep going lower, right? And then which also aligns with these previous lows here. But then price struggle to keep going lower. Let me go to the 1 hour. Let me use the 1 hour time frame because it was more obvious on the 1 hour time frame. So price struggled to go lower here, and then price broke this high and made it high. Now I saw this trade, I was like, okay, I was watching what was going on. Then price corrected itself and gave a new indication. Now this new indication here is what I'm going to mark out. This new indication here is what I'm going to mark out because this new indication here was showing that price was making bullish push and was showing signs that price is bullish, right? So we have this level. We have this level. The price with this indication corrected itself, giving another indication, and mark this one out as well. So this was around here that I was seeing this trade around this area. So let's now, as was around here, and you knew for a fact that above these levels, buyers are in control of the market and they can push price up. You also know for a fact that above this level, buyers are in control of the market and they can push price up. And you also know again that above this level, buyers are also in control of the market and they can push price up. You see price giving these formations to the upside. And then obviously what you would expect is that price corrects itself here. Price corrects itself here. Then back above here, you're looking to take buys. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So now you take a buy around this area. Me personally, I didn't take this buy because this was around 1 p.m. It was pretty New York session. Session was not open yet. So price just break out. And then the next session, when people wanted to open, price broke back down. But let's imagine that I took the trade here and then I lose this trade. Now, because I lost this trade and price has made the indication to the downside, does not take away the fact that back at this level, I know for a fact that above here buyers are in control, above here buyers are in control, and above here buyers are in control of the market. That doesn't take away the fact. So just because I lost this trade and price gave a deeper correction doesn't make me change my bias, because I know what you are struggling with. You said you are struggling with. You will basically, because you saw this, you basically think, okay, I think we are selling now, and you call this place your new area, you call this your new indication, you call this your correction, and you're already waiting for price to break back below here for it to take sales. But my point to
Yeah,
you is
pretty
that
much.
exactly. So my point to you is that sometimes price corrects deeper, doesn't just correct to that area, to that zone that we want it to correct to. Sometimes it corrects deeper, and that's okay as long as your bias is still on point and that your entire trade or your entire bias has not yet been completely disqualified. And in this scenario, my bias was still very, very good. And this is the scenario where you say that you're gonna stick with your bias because you know for a fact that above here is still bullish, above here is still bullish, above here is still bullish. So what I would advise is that when you are seeing yourself struggling with, you had a bias, and because you saw a pullback, you are now wondering whether you are buying or whether you are selling. I would say you should look back at the reason why you had a bullish bias in the first place, and then ask yourself if that bullish bias has completely been disqualified. In that way, because what really usually happens is that we usually tend to be short-sighted, and we just think about the current moment so much that we forget what happened one session ago or two sessions ago. So it's always important to ask yourself that question before you completely say that you are about to have a new bias. But in this situation, let's say price uh made this high here, pushed up here, and then gave me a new indication to the downside. Now I know for a fact that okay, I can now start looking for sales. Why can I start looking for sales? I think our call is about to end, but that's cool. Why I know for a fact that I can now start looking for sales. And the reason why I can now start looking for sales is because the price has taken out this level, made a new low, corrected itself, and taken out its own low. So now I see in that situation, what I will now be seeing in that scenario is that I will now be seeing that we have a high here, and then we have lower high here, and then we now have the supposed lower high around this area. And that gives you the sense of, okay, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, and then lower low, right? And that gives you that confirmation that, okay, I see sales now because I've seen lower lows and lower high formations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's all I needed right there because I just be thinking that everything is like I take it on the first indication when I should wait for another pullback and then for the second indication to be made to make my bias correct. Because
Yes.
I could have like a buying bias and then just one low gets broken. I'm like, oh, I have to sell now. But
Yeah,
I don't
I think also the reason why that is also happening to you because you prefer scalping.
I I started off by scalping. Like I was used to just scalping in the beginning of my trading.
So I think that scalping is still it's still in you. You still have it in you. Like you are you like to take a trade now and in 30 minutes you're out. It's still in you. So that is one of the reasons why you kind of are not so patient to see that your bias is now completely wrong. And the best advice I would give for that is for you to have in mind that you still have the scalping mentality in you where you want to take trades immediately. Now, if you have this mentality, if you always remember that you still have that scalping this thing in you, then it's going to help you know that you need to stay grounded. But if you take your mind off it, you forget that you had that, you start to think that it's natural, that that it's valid, that what you're thinking is valid. But if you just remember that you have scalping mentality in you, you have the mentality of always wanting to be in and out of trade, then it's also going to help you to know how you can control it.
Yeah, because I was used to scalping like on the 5 minute and the 1 minute. So it was like super fast. I'm like, oh, I have to change my bias like quick.
That's
But
crazy.
now,
And you know the funny thing, I didn't even know this, but from just what you told me, I already knew for a fact that that had to be what you're going through.
yeah, like I told you I've been trading for 2 years, and the whole 2 years it was like just like quick in and out of the market, like what 5, 10 minute trades, and I was done for the day.
Yeah,
But it was like very stressful. It was like I don't know, I just couldn't handle it anymore. But
yeah. Well,
now I've been on ICC for like a month and a half. It's a little
yeah,
bit more relaxing. Like I have more time to make analysis, to take my trade and everything. But yeah, I took it out of the scalping mindset because I was doing it for like 2 years, just pure scalping and everything.
yeah. But in terms of like, in terms of where you are now, what do you think? Do you think you prefer now to just day trade or swing trade, or you want to go back to scalping but using ICC?
No, I prefer to. Right now,
Huh?
I'm doing mostly day trades. Like I'd rather just hold it longer, or even if I could like swing it, I'll rather like just swing because I could just stay off the charts for a bit and relax more.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna go back to scalping. That's
Hold
no.
on, I'm trying to switch my audio. Can you speak?
Hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So basically, in terms of like the swings, that like have you seen a way to be able to turn your um ICC 1 hour trade into a swing trade? Have you like have you been able to figure that out, or yes, you're trying to figure that out?
I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm like, I think the higher up in the time frames I go, like it gives me more confirmation to like hold the swing. Like sometimes I'd be going on the 4 hour to look for to see how the structure looks on there.
Yeah. Well,
But I don't know, with everything you told me right now, I think it just makes way more sense now. Like,
well,
what was that?
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yeah, like everything you told me was basically everything I was doing wrong. Like I was doing so much wrong and I didn't even know. But I think this week I'm gonna start like with everything you told me. Should be good.
Uh,
I have a I have a challenge account right now, and I'm break even on it because I take a good trade and then the next trade I'm like, oh, I switch bias and it just stops me out. But I think with everything you told me about like waiting for the correction and sticking with my original bias, I think that's gonna help so much.
just it's just all about trusting yourself and trusting the reason why you're trying to do a trade. So I just another way to build that up is maybe go back in time and just back test a lot more and see that situation that you're struggling with. Try to see it in the previous past and see what has happened right after that happened and see how often you're gonna get fucked if you are going to be approaching it the same way you're approaching it now.
Yeah.
Do you have a journal?
No, I don't have a journal right now.
Would you like to have a journal?
Yeah, you have a link for it or something?
I can give you a template. I just send you a free template that you can use that I use that I just give it to everyone that I get on this call, and everyone I've given it to just say that it's a fucking good journal. It's this solid. So I just give it out as free. So if you want that, I can just send you a link to that template so that you can also use it to journal your trade. Basically, it's going to show you every single detail about your trading.
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm down for that. If you could send it on my email if you can.
All right, great. I'm going to send you a link to that journal on your, I don't know, I don't have your Instagram, but I would like to have your Instagram.
Oh, I thought I put my Instagram. Hold on. I'll type it right here in the chat.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type my name here so that you can send me a message on Instagram and I can see you.
All
Cool.
right.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
this is my name, so you just copy it or just know that the first number is a number, not a letter. So the first zero is an actual zero, not an O. So if you put it like this, you're gonna see me and I'm using the same DP. So just add me up on Instagram so I can send you the link there. Cool.
All right, I added you. Yeah, yeah.
All right, bro. Um, our time is already up. There are about a few seconds left, so I'm gonna call it a success. All right,
All right, thank you, brother, for everything.
no problem, man. Safe.
Stay safe out there, bro. Take care.
Take care.